Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Tinker Thursday. And my name is Juliana. I'm DevRel at NodeOps, and I'll give you a little bit of introduction of what Tinker Tuesdays and Thursdays are. So every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm streaming from New York City. We are an open kind of session, no agenda, and we spend 1 hour and explore new technology. So what that means is in the past, we have vibe coded, we've checked out not only technology that NodeOps offers, but also anything that's trending in GitHub. We try vibe coding together, we try deploying those technologies, and we even expand into marketing, how to market the things that we have created. We also explore new databases and debug together. So it's a totally open session. Things go wrong all the time, but that's what tinkering is. It's to have fun, explore, and try and keep up with how fast tech moves. And that's why we like to look at what's trending. So let's see. Let's give you a little bit of background on what we are doing today. So in the last stream, we worked on Superbase. Superbase was a database, and we vibe coded. We used not Claude Code, which we did in a previous stream. We use Cursor. We use Cursor in conjunction with Superpower, which is kind of like a cursor amplifier, kind of structures your vibe coding into something more robust, so you don't have to do as many iterations. So the result was fantastic, by the way. So we can continue with that today, or we can vibe code as something new, or we can explore some new stuff. So the agenda is totally open today. I'm kind of just following how I feel. If there's something that you want to see, totally write it in the comments or DM me. So let me take you into my monitor, my screen, and we'll get started. Okay. All right, so last week we worked on this agenda. Hi, Eddie, good to see you. Let me swap this around. There. All right, so last week we worked on, by the way, this is my Twitter. Feel free to follow me on Twitter or DM me if there's something interesting you want to see. Hi, Kanzi, welcome back. As I was saying today, if you just joined, I don't have any agenda for today. So if there's something you want to see, just write it in the chat. So some of the options we could do today are like either to check out the Superbase app again, or we can check out one-click deploy again, or we can check out what's trending from the GitHub repo. So I was pulling this up right here. This is a bunch of GitHub repos that are trending for this month with using JavaScript. What we can do is literally just go down this list and try and deploy all of them. All of them on CreateOS. I think it's like chaotic engineering, you know? We can just like try and push the technology to the limits, because I don't really have an agenda today. So yeah, if there's something you guys want to check out, just let me know. But last week we worked on vibe coding a Superbase app. We still have not fully tested it because I keep getting rate limited. We can try that one more time today. We can also check out, hi Sam. Oh, we can also check out again one-click deploy, which is what I was saying. We can pick any of the repositories and try and deploy here. Let me clean this up. Delete this. And these are the possible frameworks that they support. Yeah. Any ideas? Feel free to type it into the chat if there's something you want me to check out today. Otherwise, it's just going to be like a very chill hangout session where we mess around and find out. I was thinking it could also be nice that we go end to end again and go through CreateOS, because it's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks since we've really gone in and just started from the very beginning of what CreateOS is. Hi, Hopi. Hi, Winner. I'll give you guys a minute to see what you guys think of. Dancy says, let's do what you have in mind. Honestly, I don't really have too much in mind. I don't have too much in mind. How far have we gone, guys? I don't know. How far have you gone, Remy? No, we haven't done too much. I'm still trying to figure out today's agenda, so it's totally open. I say let's just try something new. I'll do a quick briefer on what CreateOS is, what NodeOps is, because this is our host today. I am Devrel at NodeOps. But we don't have to keep to the agenda of what CreateOS and NodeOps is. We can totally go and try new things. That's the point of Tinker Tuesdays and Thursdays, is that we spend 1 hour messing up, trying new things, and trying to keep up with all the new technology that's out there. So we're pushing ourselves. We can also just push what CreateOS is. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just do like an end-to-end, like quick walkthrough what CreateOS is. So I'm going to log in real quick into my account. And as soon as you log in, you get 400 credits. With those credits, you can use them to vibe code. Go into create at the top. You can go into and start typing in your prompt and create an application. So things I've created are like Lumen task or something like this. And you can preview them after it's been generated. You can preview them. And after you preview them, you can actually go ahead and deploy them up top. When you deploy, you get a public link that's shareable. Yes, and if you can't think of a project, you can totally use one of the prompts that are down here. Click into it, and yeah, it will build. So by default, is using Claude Opus 4.5, and this eats into the credits that you get. Something new is definitely worth it. Okay, Kanzi, heard. Let me finish this real quick, and then we will get into some new stuff. So after you create something, we're literally going to go down this list. You can deploy it. When you deploy, you can deploy through GitHub. You can connect your GitHub repository, and I have, I think, 99 or 100 repos over here that I can import and deploy. And when I deploy it, you can literally choose any of these, and you can either deploy manually or with AI. With AI, it will read your code base and try and determine what is the framework to best deploy. You could, instead of limiting to your own GitHub repositories, you can connect multiple GitHubs, by the way. You can also deploy any public link by clicking deploy from URL. When you deploy from a URL, you just paste the GitHub that you want. For example, we'll do this real quick. I was looking at this repo called draw.io, which is very similar to xCalidraw that we did a couple of days ago. So let me show you what it looks like. This is the public link, draw.io. And this is the open source, Electron app. So you can just copy this GitHub link, copy and bring it into deploy, and then paste it here and click import. And then instead of manual, you can just click build with AI, which is kind of like the easiest way to deploy something. So give it a name, draw.io. It's got, you're releasing, pick the branch. I assume dev is a good one. All right, we'll stay with dev. And then assuming everything's okay, give it a shot, deploy. And valid display name, okay. Draw.io, nice, deploy. And now we just wait. Now we hope that it works. So that's what deploy is. Let me go back to CreateOS. And while that's deploying, I'm gonna bring you back into here. So we can deploy with GitHub. We can also deploy with a Docker image. If there's a public Docker image that you want to try out, you can deploy this way. You can also deploy with a zip file. If, let's say, you're working with a private database, something you don't want, hosted up, you can do it this way. Other things you can deploy are services. So under services, you can deploy a Supabase, Postgres, MySQL, as well as like Valkey or message queue like Kafka. So it can get pretty complex here, and each of these can have their own environments and connect with whatever you are building over here as well. So once you're deployed, how do you find your deployments? Go back to home, come under My Deployments, and then here are your deployments where you can track them, you can view them, you can edit the environments, change the variables, etc. So say, for example, well, real quick, I'll talk about these two. This one is the one we just deployed, it's building. This is something I've already deployed. And then up top, we have separate folders, instances. So under OpenClaw are all of my instances of OpenClaw. I click into it, I have one instance of OpenClaw. I can totally come up here and deploy another instance of OpenClaw. Now, all of this is eating through your credits. So you can track your credit usage through this circle over here. So that's OpenClaw. I won't go too deeply into OpenClaw, but it is the easiest way I've seen to deploy one right now. Back into My Deployments, you can go into Superbase. And these are my instances of Superbase. I have 2. And I think let's dive into one of these deployments. So Instagram Chat Analytics is a project that I vibe coded in about an hour. What it does is like, here, I'll click into it. Here we go. So it takes in any of your like Instagram chats, you export it into a JSON and then import it over here. Click import and then select the file, the JSON file. And then it will analyze it. You know, how long does it take for you guys to respond to each other? How long are the average message lengths? You know, how long, how many of you, who ask more questions than the others, and how long has it been since you've spoken? You know, just general analytics like that to check for your friendships and as well as romance. If you're talking to someone you are interested in romantically, you can kind of see metrics on like how affectionate are they. So yeah, this is a very interesting analytics. This is a project that I was vibe coding, and you can actually read the raw chat as well over here. So this is one of my side projects, and it is totally hosted on NodeOps. On this analytics page, there's a few things you can do. You can look at the application logs, you can look at build logs, and you can also customize the domain. So if this is something that you want to host publicly, you can add like a custom domain and generate the DNS for that connected to your domain name. From here, let's see, we've looked at logs. You can also create multiple environments. Let's say you have like a production and a dev environment. You can add that with its own separate variables. So this one is called production. Oh, thank you. It is a beautiful project. It's a lot of interesting metrics that you can capture from looking at your chat history with people, you know? So it's cool. And I can definitely scale it out and import all of my chat history to see like who are my closest friends or who should I follow up with. So yeah, there's stuff I can work on. Anyway, so this environment is production. By the way, this was generated with build with AI. So it automatically created an environment named production, set it to active, and you can add variables to just this environment. It's you can track the CPU and storage and how many replica sets. And if you wanted more, you can just come in here and edit, and then you can have like a maximum of 3 replica sets. So if one goes down, another stays up, and then, you know, if there's like a, yeah, so just you have this nice uptime. Let's see what else. I think that's it for this area. Let's check out integrations. Okay, you can integrate Superbase here. Under settings, yeah, here's your port. See, security scan. This one's very nice. So we have a built-in security scanner, which just checks for like dependency vulnerabilities. If it was a Docker image, it'll check that as well. So that's really nice to do. Let's see, I think that's all over here. Oh, one more thing. If you wanted to, let's say, edit this code base without going back into your cursor or into GitHub, you can open up an AI playground. What this does is it opens like a virtual IDE and then opens an instance of like of your code base, which you can edit from right there. And it has built-in AI. It doesn't use cursor. It uses something called Roo for kangaroo, which is like a built-in AI code, AI agent for coding. I can't vouch for how good it is, but it's there and you could use it. Okay, I think that's it for this page. Let me go back to deployments and see if it's finished. Oh, there's a build error. It's a build error. This happens. Sometimes builds with AI does not always do it well, but it was worth a try. Okay, moving on. That was my deployments. Now I'm going to go into templates. So templating is an ability for you to use other people's code base, or you can list your code base here. If you can publish your vibe coded application as a Docker image, list it here under publish template, right? You enter your project here, give it a thumbnail, and kind of type how many credits you would charge people for whenever they deploy, and then you can earn income through your application. So looking at what other people have done, see under my templates. So for example, if you wanted to, I don't know, run like a liquidity sentinel tracker. I'm not sure what this is, but we can click into it, read a little bit about it, and check the overview, check the use cases, minimum configurations needed, and then go ahead and deploy it from here. When you deploy, it does take 50 credits. So if you click purchase, that will subtract from the amount of credits you have. But once you purchase this, it will show up and deploy under your deployments. And now you have access to your own version of Liquidity Sentinel Tracker. So that's templates. Yeah, you can totally filter by category as well. So here are the blockchain ones, like this DeFi platform. All right, that's templates. You can have your own. And under my servers, this is where you can contribute to the compute power of NodeOps. So the very basis of NodeOps is kind of this like decentralized compute layer. It's built by people who have like excess compute, and in exchange for connecting their compute to our network, they get income. So looking at over here, you can see these machines are machines that I've created in the past. A bunch of them are deleted. These are old. And then up here, we have one active and one pending. What these are actually, I don't have excess compute. Like I don't have a server sitting around here, but I do have like an open GCP instance, or you can AWS instance, whatever it's like, under that you have. You can also use like whatever hard code, actual hardware server that's sitting on your floor, or maybe even like a Linux or a MacBook or whatever. Anything that has compute sitting on it, you can go ahead and create a server. Click add server. You can, I think, either rent a machine or add your own machine. From here, you can click one machine, connect your wallet, and then what you have to do is, I think, stake a few tokens or something like that. But you do need to like have these tokens in order to solidify your validity into the network. After that, you come over here and set up. When you set up, there is a command that you copy and then you run it on that machine. And then now you can run the client. And after a little bit, it's kind of like setting up a miner, and then you should be able to like start earning income. As if there's something that's like hosted on your machine, you earn income. So yeah, the entire economics of it is written in our white paper. You can check out like nodeops.network to read more about it. But this is essentially the bottom of what nodeops.network is. It is a network of compute power. And what sits in the compute power are all these applications and templates. Yeah. So we've got down to the bottom. That was an end-to-end 20-minute or 10-minute spiel about what NodeOps is. Basically, it's like the easiest way for you to create something, deploy, and start earning into the marketplace. We also have a bunch of like MCPs and CLIs, very easy one-click deployment flows. It's kind of like the easiest way for like an AI agent to code something and deploy it in one go. Yeah. Oh, Kanzi asked, how do I successfully build with AI? It's like a hit or miss. I think it really depends on the project. When it comes to easy projects, it does a very good job. With something more complicated, like just now, we clicked on draw.io, which is an Electron app. I don't think it did a very good job with it. It might be that Electron is like what do they call it? Desktop application. It's that it doesn't run on like a, in a server. We wouldn't, yeah. This would run if I was running it like locally. It would open a screen as if I had an app, I guess, a software, but not on a website. It's not web-based, is what I'm saying. That may be why it's not working. But we can totally try another JavaScript repository. Like, let's say, fast low overhead web framework. So anything that makes sense to deploy. That's cute, but no. Oh, this one's cute. WebGoat. WebGoat is a deliberately insecure application, so it's meant to be hackable, which means I should be able to deploy it. It's a web app. All right, let's try deploying WebGoat. I'm gonna go straight to deploy. Go to deploy from GitHub. Click deploy from URL, and then paste WebGoat. Click import, and now we try build with AI. And hit deploy. Let's see. Oh, they also have a Docker file. WebGoat. Oh, here it is, WebGoat. So let's try it two ways. We'll do it by GitHub once, and then let's also try deploying it via Docker image. Let's try that. Yeah? Yeah, okay. All right, I'm going to go to Docker image, hit configure. Let's give it, Docker name is WebGoat Docker. The image is WebGoat/WebGoat. The port is, what is the port? 9090. Port 9090. And hit deploy. All right, that's it. We have two instances of WebGoat going on, one with GitHub, another with Docker. Wow, the AI one is definitely slower. Look what happened to the Docker instance. It's already finished. Oh, 502, bad gateway. Sometimes it takes a minute if it's this fast. Give it a moment, we will check it again. Nice. Still 502. Is it 1990 or 8080? Now I'm not sure. Or is it 3000? Oh, it's 8080 and 9090. Okay, let me deploy again. This time with port 8080. Two ways are a great way to experiment. Yes, let's do it. Let me deploy again. WebGoat Docker 8080. Deploy again. Preview. Look, build the AI is still going. Still going. Hmm. 404. Interesting. Huh. So this deployment does work, but why is it 404ing? Hold on. I think it's time for me to really take a look at this Docker file. Why does it have 2 ports? Is that intentional? Aside from these, what other things do you have in mind for today? I didn't really have too much in mind for today. Not too much. So I'm open to whatever you suggest. If there's something you want me to check out, if there's a GitHub repo or some new technology, yeah. We can totally read through these together. I think the only thing I've been asked to do is just to demonstrate the one-click deploy, which is what I've been doing, just copying and pasting these GitHub repos and seeing if they run. Outside of that, it's a totally open agenda. Oh, look, 8080 is running. Let's take a look at it, see if it's up. Bad gateway still. Give it a moment. See if it comes up in a moment. Interesting. Oh, thank you. I curled my hair a little bit because I went out to have lunch earlier today with a friend. I don't know why it's not working. See, outside of this, we can go back and check out the vibe coding Superbase app and see if that works. This time I'll switch it back to the old environment variable, right? Hi, Kukoba. I need to figure out how the build with AI works so that I can guide others to it without wasting time. Yeah, it's kind of annoying because there's no kind of fails more often than it's successful. So I'm not sure how it can be done better. Yeah, the build with AI tends to, like right now it's hanging for me. It's still going. That's great. I'm sure you enjoyed your lunch. Yes, we can totally check out Superbase. Okay. Yeah. Can you remind me like what happened in the last stream? I remember I got stuck on an error and I fixed it and then did I fix it? Here, let me switch my screen. Let me jump into it. All right, we're back. We're back in Superbase app. So last time I remember creating new credentials and realized halfway through that I wouldn't be able to do it again. I do suggest a manual build. Yes. Oh, right now I'm way more successful with manual builds than I am with AI, but that's only because you already know the framework you're using. I'm over here trying out repos that I've never looked at the code base of. So yeah, we don't know. We can try this today. Someone sent me a repository of a front-end repo, and okay, here's the story. So my friend is a designer, and she found a contract work. Let me share my screen. She found contract work online. I don't exactly know how she came upon it. And the people sent her this GitHub repo and said, run it and check out the UI. And she tried to run it on an isolated machine because, she doesn't want to run like random code on her own machine, right? You're very sketch. And it didn't work. So she texted, she was like, I can't run it. And they were really mean to her. They said, what do you mean? You don't want to work or something? Like you don't want money? So she sent me this repository and she asked me like, is it legit? Is it, is it, vibe coded? Is it a scam? Is it going to hack my machine? Because you never know what you find online, right? So she sent me this repository. I did take a look at it today. It doesn't look like a scam. It does look like, here, let me show it to you. It does look like someone who is probably does not know what they're doing when it comes to the front end. Here, we can do some investigative work together. On the last stream, we fixed the error, but it gave another error and you used a new account. Did I ever fix that error though, Kanzi? Did I? I probably did, huh? Okay, I'm gonna do a little side quest, and we're gonna do some investigative nature into this. So this repository, I'm putting these guys on blast. So these guys are, I don't know who these guys are, but they created a smart contract project called blockchain voting system, right? Everyone's got a blockchain voting system. All right. So this repository was sent by my friend, and she asked me, is it legit? Is it a scam? Like, I can run it on CreateOS right now, and it's kind of like in its own isolated environment. I don't have to put my own machine at risk, right? So let's do that. I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll come back and look at the code together. Let me go to deploy. Oh, shoot. Build with AI for WebGo is finished. Oh, but build error. Classic. All right, let's go into deploy, GitHub, deploy from URL, and paste. We will import that, build with AI. We'll call this scam or not, and deploy that. Hi, Drewski. Good to see you. Change keys. Okay. Thank you for the reminder. Gnode. All right, so while that's deploying on CreateOS, let me take a look at this. So my friend asked me, is this a scam? And I took a look at the code base. I was like, first of all, it's got 204 commits, all right, from 3 months ago. And then I clicked into the commits. First, I looked at the README and I was like, does this look like it's AI generated? No. The answer is no. Just from looking at the README, it doesn't look like it's AI generated. One, because look, there's the typo here. Block dash chain. Who does that? This reads very human. Also, the spacing and the generation of it, it looks like someone who created it for a hackathon or something. So right off the bat, I think the README looks legitimate, right? Okay, front end with React, back end with Node and Express using Solidity looks all right, okay? The real defining factor for me was actually looking at the commits. So I clicked into commits and I can scroll back. The last commit was December 20th, 2025. And by the way, just so for some context, my friend is the designer. She gets hired to design UI UXs, and these people sent them the front end. So I took a look at the GitHub commits. The last one was December 20th. I clicked into it, and they uploaded a few PNGs. So the PNGs look human-made. All right, just looking at how messy they are and how they're not quite perfect. This all looks human-made, you know, high-level system architecture, right? Already human. And then scrolling back down, previous commit was December 14th. Looking at the way they've described what happened, gives ChatGPT vibes though. Maybe. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Say, fixing the bugs in navbar.js. I clicked into this. I looked at the lines of code. I mean, this one could be AI, but let's keep going. All right, scroll down to the bottom. Improve performance in trend bar. Clicked into it. All right, this one read a lot more like human. First of all, you're seeing commented out code, which doesn't really happen with AI. AI generally tends to just rewrite it and they don't comment out code. This is something a human does. And then you come into here and you see how small this commit is. There's only 36 lines and only one file changed. Usually when AI comes in and you implement a new feature, it's doing massive commits, lots of changes, multiple files, multiple lines. This was another clue. Okay, and then I went further back, all the way to the very beginning, the very, very beginning, just to see when they started this project. Right. Okay, their very first commit was October 14, 2025. Clicking into init project. Yep. Init project is just one file, just a git ignore. Okay. And then October 15th, they did this one. Right. Yeah, very, very basic, very simple, very small commits. Another thing I noticed was that this account doesn't exist, which means this person either didn't stick with the project, or were not very good. So this project only lasted from October to December. It was like a 2-month-ish project, and only this account exists. This is a backend Node.js developer, the only other person who pushed it into this GitHub repo. So this seems human as well. I don't think they seem like scammers. Scammers would probably have like a burner account, would do one commit, just very low-hanging fruit. So I told her I don't think it is a scam. I don't think it's a bad project. I think maybe they asked her to run it only because they're a small group. Maybe they're just lazy. Maybe they're just low effort. They sent it to her and asked her to run it on her machine. Yeah. Yeah, it's very possible this is ChatGPT because of all the emojis. But judging by the code, I don't think they used any AI for the code. I know, like, disagree with me if I'm wrong, but I really think that they generally just initiated this project and then did very, very basic work with it. Right. And I don't think they did a lot of edits with AI afterwards. But again, I didn't look at every single commit. But this seems legit. If this was a scam, I don't think they would have multiple weeks where they're doing consistently small commits. All right, project is still deploying. Let's see how it looks when we get back to it. Yeah, the README is probably ChatGPT, but I think the PNGs are not. So somebody took the time to create those architecture diagrams, which is why I don't think it's a scam. But to be safe, run your code base on CreateOS, not on your own machine. If someone gives you a repo, try on CreateOS first. Okay. Oh, it has deployed. Oh no, deployed with a build error again. Oh, hey, Lucas. Good to see you. Let me know when you're coming to New York. You also don't think it's a scam. Yeah, me neither. I'm curious, Lucas, while you're still here, if you picked up a new contract, and I know you're a UI UX designer, right? If someone gave you a repo and said, run it and check out the UI, what would you say in response? Because I told her, like, why don't you ask for like a Figma or some screenshots or something? But anyway, if they're like a small company and they don't have a Figma or something, how do you respond to that? Do you try and actually run it on your machine? What is the professional way? And they, when she tried to run it on like a sandbox environment, and it didn't work. They were like, what did they say? They said, "Do you want to work or not?" Which was so rude, by the way. I really think that these people are like kids. I think it's a very, very small project. But let me know how you would respond. Okay. I'm going to check the web codes one more time. Port 8080 also did not work. Okay. Lucas, yeah, normally I would get a Figma design. Me personally, I would run it on the local host and then use like HTML to design. So you would run it on your machine. Someone gives you a GitHub repo and you would run it on your machine. She didn't do it. She had the heebie-jeebies. Trusky, why would they say, does she want to work or not? I think it's because, I don't know, they like perceived it to be difficult or something. It was just very rude, you know, not very professional to say, hey, do you want to work or not? First of all, she's not technical, by the way. Remember that she is a designer. She is a UI UX person, and they gave her a GitHub repo and told her to run it on her machine to check out the UI. I told her, I was like, this sometimes happens in startups because either they're too lazy to schedule something with you and show you the UI, or they think you're more technical than you are. Yeah. They're surprised to add her to their Figma project for her to see what's going on. Yeah, they're supposed to, assuming that they have one. I'm looking at the code base. They seem like a very, very small project. You know, they probably have, this looks like a hackathon project, to be honest. But yeah, it seemed very rude. So yeah. So yeah, I've been helping her like try and respond to these people to still get the job. I think they're very young and rude. Maybe they want it so bad. They want it so bad. Yeah, I think they're very young. I mean, just let's like dive into these people. I looked into this guy's account. The only other person other than Front End Beast is not an account that exists. So I think there's a falling out with this person. Either they hired this contractor out, didn't deliver what they had to do, and left. Maybe this project doesn't run at all. It could be that they just gave her a test. Maybe this project doesn't run at all, right? The only other person that contributed is, let's scroll back, K4DM3L. All right. And let's go into this guy's account. Yeah, she can just say she's a designer and please send over screenshots. Absolutely, yeah, she can say that. Let me go into this guy's profile. Sorry, I'm totally putting this guy on blast. He seems legitimate. He's got his LinkedIn, he's got his X. He's consistently contributing. You can see he's a real developer. Look at his projects. His projects are, I would say, pretty basic. Look, there's like a clone page as its pinned repository. A practice for SaaS. He seems new. He's got his GitHub repo right here. Let me take a look at this link. Right. Sorry, we are totally stalking this guy. All right, Camilo. Here are his skills. I think he's still on this project. $2026. Okay. All right. I would say this guy's very young. That's my read on it. And I can see how they can be rude. Not very professional. Check his LinkedIn. Find your ski. Let's do it. This is Tinker Tuesday and Thursday. Oh my God, the link doesn't exist. Are you serious? Hold up. Let me do that. Let me check the Twitter real quick. Oh, Twitter is real. Joined 2014. I don't think he's a scammer. Looks like he's Colombian. This guy. Oh, he's in Medellin. Let me check the LinkedIn again. So if it doesn't exist, I can actually look for him. I don't know which one is him. Hey, Chris. Yeah, I don't know which one is him. Maybe this guy? Software developer? He is in Medellin, but that guy looks way older than the one we were looking at before. No, this guy looks legit. Well, he did go to Alchemy. Mathematics professor. Okay, we're really snooping, but that's not the guy. This guy seems very young, like he just graduated. Maybe we should email him. Recent posts. Let me check. His last post was 2024. Yeah, you went to Alchemy. How was it? Was Alchemy, like, did it give you the skills you needed? His last post was 2024, which was a year and a half ago. But he has been contributing through GitHub. He's just not active on Twitter too much. So my read on this is that, like, they're just young and rude. But yeah, this is how I would approach this. If someone gave me a GitHub repo and told me to run it, I would do it in an isolated environment and not on my actual machine. I mean, look at his repos. He teaches Solidity and basically JS. Kanzi. Maybe I should email him with my fake one. Nah, no. No. My friend's working with him. Maybe she'll work with him. We shouldn't do this. Tracker feedback. December 25th. What's tracker feedback? Oh. All right, I'm bored. We're done. We're done stalking him. Let's go back into my deployments. All right, we have 9 more minutes left. I know this session was kind of all over the place. We didn't even get to like actually testing out the Superbase demo. Maybe that's what we'll do. Our scam or not did not deploy. It didn't work. I think build with AI it keeps just messing up. I can try again because that GitHub repo was relatively simple, right? What was it? Let me pull it up again. It's React. So maybe what I'll do is I'll try again. Right, it is React, right? Let me double check. Package.json, and I'll try it manually. Scripts. Yeah, it is React. Let's do it. Let's go to my deployments, deploy new project, click GitHub, click deploy from URL, paste, and import. And this time I'll do it manually. We'll call it blockchain voting system. You're right, I'm stalking him. Listen, you gotta do your own research. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do your own research. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna click React. I guess I'll choose single page application, I guess. And we'll deploy this way. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna deploy with both. Deploy projects, deploy again, paste, import, manual. And then I'm gonna select React SSR, right? And deploy. Okay, so now we have 2 instances going, one with React SPA, one with React SSR. We'll see which one wins. I think there's a lot of metrics to stalking people. You know, like let's say when you're hiring someone, you have to be able to kind of read who they are with their digital presence. You know, how do you trust someone? I don't think it's an SPA. Maybe, probably not. Good thing we're trying both. Okay. While we are here, I'm going to try one more time the voice drop application. We got 5 minutes left. While everything is deploying, I'm going to try one more time to send myself a note. And remember, I can only log in twice. So I'm going to use one account to send it and another account to receive it. Hopefully it works. So first, I'm going to log in with this account. I switched my credentials back to the old one. So we should be using this one. Right. I'm going to log in. Let me make this bigger. Send a magic link. And so again, this is using the Superbase built-in authentication. Click the magic link, log in, and now we're going to really quickly create, I'm going to send it to myself. this other account using this user ID, copy and paste. That's my other user ID, and I'm going to record myself. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm making a recording to myself. End recording. Okay. And now I'm going to click send. This should be stored in my Superbase and sent over to my other account. So now we're going to log into my other account and see if we receive it. All right. So let me log out over here. And we're going to log in with this account. Okay. And now let's check that account. Click the magic link to log in. All right. And I received it, and I'm going to listen to it. You guys won't be able to hear it, so I need to reshare my screen so you can hear the audio. So 1 second. Let me reshare the screen. Okay. I think that should work. Okay, we're going to click listen and hope this works. If not, we're going to get an error message, and we'll try again next time. Here we go. Fingers crossed. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm making a recording to myself. End recording. It worked. It worked. Looks like I can replay one more time, right? Oh, it expired. One time. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm making a recording to myself. End recording. Plays twice. That was really cool. That was finally, it worked. We vibe coded it. We tested it. It's using Superbase. We used Cursor the entire time. That was awesome. I hope you guys heard that. It was amazing. Finally, it took just like 3 sessions to get here, but we did test it. It works. I'm happy about it. Yay! Let's see if our deployments are doing okay. And then we can close out the stream. Oh, it's still going. Still going. Oh, that was awesome. It's basically Snapchat for voice memos. That's cool, super cool. I'm curious to know, while we're still here, if I can access it from inside. Like, does it get stored? No. You did hear it. Yay! Thank you so much, Kanzi and Drewski, for being here with me. Can we create something similar to 11 Labs? 11 Labs will definitely eat up credit. Yeah, 11 Labs is super expensive if you've ever worked with it. Congrats. Now let's talk monetization of voice drops and new features. Interesting. What new features do you want to see? Monetization is interesting. We can call it like the Snapchat of voices. Maybe implement like a streak, like how there's Snapchat streaks. And yeah, might be nice. We can make friends, add friends and have usernames. Instead of using user IDs, we can use usernames. Yeah, maybe we'll do that for our next stream. Totally open to it. And I'll try and weave in like some new features, like, you know, like more vibe coding or some MCPs or CLIs, whatever that we may be launching. But yeah, excited for it. It was really nice. Superpower is cool. Would you use again? Oh, blockchain voting system. Both of them have a build error. What happened? It's clearly just a React app. Super sus. Deploy at your own risk if you guys want to check it out. Super sus. Huh. Cannot find file. So it's missing a page. Fail to compile? All right, well, I can see why it didn't work for my friend. And it didn't work for us on CreateOS. Yeah. I'll probably tell her what you suggested, Lucas. Just send screenshots in Figma because you're a designer, not a developer. Anyway, thank you for joining today's stream. I know the agenda was all over the place, but nonetheless, still really fun. Highlights for me were getting the voice drop application to work and also stalking the guy. That was really fun. I'm happy to do that again with new projects. I just like seeing what I can find. And I say, Kanzi said, is it just the application? It's a CreateOS thing that needs to be fixed. I think CreateOS Build AI does have some issues. I myself want to find out a little bit more about why it kind of fails more often than it's successful. But for simple projects, Build with AI is perfect. If it's a simple, like, plain vanilla JavaScript, or a straight up React application, it should work. This project seems to be failing all across the board. I don't know why. And if I wanted to find out why, I would probably git clone it, put it on my machine, and then put it into Cursor and ask the agent to take a look at the project and, why is it failing? I wouldn't manually go through the project myself, and I wouldn't even run it on my machine, if that makes sense. Definitely would not. Yep, so that was today's stream. I'm really happy we got to the voice drop project working. We can look into putting new features into it and monetizing it. We did the same thing with Marie Kondo last time, but Marie Kondo that project, like, probably is not as scalable as voice drops or not as interesting. And it's a little bit invasive given that, like, you have to give it access to your emails. So voice drop may be more fun to monetize and market. That'll be something we can think about for Tuesday, Tinker Tuesday. And yeah, if there's anything interesting you want to check out next time, I'm open to it. Okay, thank you everybody for joining. I hope you have a good rest of your evening, and please enjoy the rest of your weekend. It was so awesome hanging out with you, and I'm excited to see you